Yo, what's up guys, welcome back, Scientist FTK. Yes, I can definitely call it an FTK. For me, this was one of the, at least the first FTK strategy I personally witnessed when I first started playing this game. That was back in like 2004. I remember it very well, like one of our national qualifiers. And this particular deck, it's probably not card for card, but again the same strategy of Catapult Turtle, Gilasaurus, Dark Magician of Chaos, Magical Scientist, Mystic Walk, Last Will, etc, etc, and you know, getting Magical Scientist on the field to use this effect to special summon a fusion monster, and then use Catapult Turtle's effect, which again is not once per turn pre-errata, and then just burn your opponent to death during the first turn or a couple of turns, right? Since you're definitely able to stall out thanks to Swords of Revealing Light or, you know, Mystic Walk, gaining yourself some life points back. But again, I remember it very well. The deck was played by, I believe, one of the best players back then, back in 2004, and the guy was sitting like a couple of tables next to me, and I saw he summoned like, or normal summon, or tribute summoned for Catapult Turtle. I was like, what? Why is he playing Catapult Turtle? The card is terrible. And then I saw like Gilasaurus and Magical Scientist, and I never heard of that card before. And then it was mind-blowing seeing this strategy back then, at least. So again, it's very much different compared to what we have now with social media, you know, coverage of tournaments. So everything is worldwide. I think with OCG etc. now we know what's coming and we have, you know, knowledge of the current cards pool. But back then, 2004, 2005, that was definitely not the case. Pojo etc. was the forum to go to, right? Okay, again, very similar to Challenger appears, so let's see how Scientist does against the decks of this year's Cross-Banlist Cup. Okay, game number one. I think I have like 10-ish duels ready, and this was the first and, if not the most, the easiest, right? Like, immediately having access to reasoning. I believe the opponent called 8, but I think you have to call like 5 against a Scientist deck, prevent them from getting Catapult Turtle to the field, and open with the one of Scientist, of course, makes it much more easy. But again, there are some draw cards, quote-unquote draw cards, that you're playing. Cards like Magical Mallet, cards like Reload. Back then, those were pretty much the only cards at least you could main deck to replenish your hand, or dig in to your deck to draw those key pieces like Last Will, etc, right? Last Will, again, pre-errata, or not, Last Will is banned, right, but not really sure of the card. Yeah, it definitely got errata, but back then it didn't really matter that much, or at least I think it was after the errata that it didn't really, didn't matter that, or at least it didn't matter when the monster was sent to the graveyard for like Monster Gate or Mystic Walk, for example. It doesn't really matter if it was sent to the graveyard before or after you activated Last Will. I believe post the errata of, was it like 2005? During that time of period, again, you could just like special summon any monster from your deck, so either Catapult Turtle or Scientist. Well, again, pretty much one of those combo pieces you needed to get on your side of the field. Magical Mallet, and you know the times, right? Using cards like Reload or Magical Mallet, hope to get lucky, but then sending cards from your deck back to your hand and drawing or at least other copies of Mallet, other copies of Reload, and that's definitely terrible. You don't want that, and now the opponent got some damage in, especially the Reaper discard hurts quite a lot. I think I have to set everything, but again, that sets me up. At least my opponent can just Black Rose the entire field, and Scientist FTK, like from 2004, I believe, doesn't really have too many options to, well, come back, and especially if you already had like tons of damage, like here in this situation. Nope. Scientist can't deal with that. Anyway, next duel against Blue Eyes. Again, I get to start. That's much more easy, right? Again, opening with the 6th card. The 6th card being the card destruction makes things quite easy. Again, getting those 5 new cards, setting up the graveyard with, I believe, a copy of Catapult Turtle. And thanks to either Monster Reborn or Premature Burial, or maybe cards like Spell Reproduction, you can dig for those reborn cards, and then it's just quite easy to get your 2-card combo on the field of of both Scientist and Catapult Turtle, and here you're seeing the effect failure on top of the graveyard. So yep, delicious, no effect failure on the Scientist. Since again, let's face it, it's quite hard for this particular deck to play around hand traps, but you know, for 2004, I believe Karibo was like the only hand trap available. Or maybe Electric Snake, who remembers that card, but against this particular FTK, you couldn't really do that much, right? If going second, that is. This was quite of a nice brick. Any normal summonable monster would have been nice, like a Gillosaurus or something like that, to tribute for the Monster Gate and use Lost Will. That definitely would have been solid, especially with the Giant Tornado in hand, bouncing back my opponent's back row. I believe he did have the Wing Blast set? Yep, not really sure. Nope, he wasn't able to go for a game, but again, that was too much damage, right? So next opponent, Light Sworns, he again gets to start. This is again an okay opening hand with Lost Will, Monster Reborn, drawing Scientist. Okay, let's go for it. Not really sure if the Light Sworn deck does run any decent back row, but I have to go for it, right? Get Scientist on board, use Last Will, gets the Catapult Turtle on the field as well, and then eventually you're again using Scientist effect multiple times and then just tribute those fusion monsters thanks to Catapult Turtle, that always dealing 1050 of burn damage, and then Catapult will tribute the Scientist itself, and then itself to eventually burn your opponent to death. So that's pretty much exactly 8k of burn damage. So GG, well played, very nice here outplaying the opponent, right? Next tool against, what is it, what's it called, Chronomelis, I believe. It should be Chronomelis with the Artifact Sentiment, etc. But again, quite nice, was able to dig in for the combo, thanks to, I believe, Lost Will as well. Yep, GG, well played, again, very, very easy. No hand traps, again, that makes things just easier, right? Quite easy to get this combo on the field. Against Pelios, and the opponent got to start having access to the 6th card. That definitely helps, and if he's able to get Toad on the field, that's a hard time, but again, I'm going second, so having access to Giant Tornado definitely gave me options, but he does not need, yeah, I believe he could have activated like the Olenoidus to destroy his his own traps, maybe his own strike or whatever, right, his own Reckless Greed to get the Toad on the field, since he had the Ronin Todion. Yeah, he definitely had the Ronin or the second level 2 monster on the field, so not really sure why he didn't go for that, but to each their own. Again, going second, I believe. This is again an okay hand going second, especially thanks to the Heavy Storm. I can combat, or at least get rid of his back row, and then, you know, establish a possible field. But nope, no Gillosaurus, no normal summonable monsters, so nope, that's definitely not the case, and no Swords of Revealing Light, so he can just special summon everything on the field and eventually go for a game, thanks to Levier into Wind Up Rabbit as well. So that's how it goes, right? Your card pool is not that high, or at least there aren't too many cards compared to what we have now, right? Of draw cards, etc. Last example, I really painful choice to get those dead cards out of my deck, and I believe the Demok as well. The opponent gave me the Demok, but again, Graceful Charity getting me 3 draws. Get lucky with the Magical Mallet, and yup, that's very delicious here, getting the 2-card combo on the field, but he does have the Veiler, so again, that's GG, well played. Mystic Walk is a card that lets me dodge the effect failure, but then I have to follow it up with either Premature Burial or Monster Reborn to get the Scientist back, since again, otherwise, nope, I'm definitely not going to win this one. So eventually he will be able to deal some damage and end with Beatrice as well. Beatrice, Veiler in hand, and Fogblade set. Yup, that's definitely GG. I believe my next draw is going to be the Spell Reproduction, so again, I just can scoop it up here. So if you weren't familiar with Scientist FTK from 2004, this was it, Scientist, and personally for me, this was one of the, at least the first FTK I personally witnessed ever since I started playing the game again. Quite of a nifty FTK, cheap FTK as well, but again, a couple of cards got the Urata, and of course the ban list, right, Scientist. Yeah, giant painful choice, etc, etc. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.